Hey everyone, it's Ebola here, and this video is all about how to manage your finances as a college student. So I've gotten a number of questions from those of you who are in college that watch my videos asking me things like how do you manage your finances if you're not earning a paycheck or if you're earning a very small paycheck. So I'm going to be sharing with you some tips to help you manage your finances while you're still in college. So number one, you want to have a plan for your finances. So just because you're earning a very small paycheck or just because you're not earning a paycheck at all does not mean that you should not have a plan. It's important that you have a plan for your finances, and that could be managing whatever pocket money you get, whatever income you're getting from a part-time job, but you want to make sure that your plan includes a budget. And your budget is basically what's going to guide you as to managing the money that you do have to spend on your college expenses and on your day-to-day expenses living your life as a college student. And the great thing about budgeting, if you start early enough and you put it into practice, is that once you graduate from college and you get that full-time job paying you a full-time paycheck, you'll already be comfortable with budgeting. So make it a goal of yours to manage your money as best as you can through a budget. And that means trying to keep your spending and your expenses as low as possible, much lower than what you're bringing in. And I know that for some of you might be dependent on a stipend or a small amount of pocket money, or you may have a part-time job, but start working on budgeting and keeping your expenses lower than your income. And if possible, try to build in a little bit of savings into that small amount of money that you're getting as well. And that brings me into my second tip, which is to save your money. Even if you're just earning a small amount from a part-time job, even if you're just getting a small amount from your pocket money, make it a goal to save a percentage of everything that you get. And the whole point of saving at this stage when you don't have a big income to support you is for you to be able to build the habit and consistency around saving. This way, once you start earning that big paycheck, that full-time paycheck, saving money becomes second nature to you. So a few things you can do with the money you save. You can save for a car, you can save for renting your first apartment, for buying a house, for travel. You can start saving money as you learn how to invest. You can also now, as a college student, start saving money for your retirement. So even if you only have $1 to put into your savings account, and believe me, I've been there where I've had $1 to save and I've gone out of my way to save that $1. So even if you only have $1 to put in your savings account, $5, $10 every week, every 2 weeks, put that money there and build up the habit of saving. Get comfortable with saving your money. Tip number 3 is to review your student loans if you have student loans. So a lot of you watching this probably do have student loans, and that is common. The average college student is going to graduate with about $40,000 in student loan debt. And so while you're in college, you want to make sure that you are aware of everything that you signed. You understand what is in your promissory note. You understand how many student loans you have, what their interest rates are, and you also want to be conscious of the amount of student loan debt that you're taking on. If you do not need to take on the extra debt, don't do it. It's not worth getting a student loan to pay for your books or to pay for your rent if you can easily get a part-time job. So be aware of what it is that you have signed on those student loan contracts. Understand the interest rates, understand the due dates, understand how many loans you have, and just basically review your promissory notes and make sure that you are aware of everything. That way, once you graduate and you get that full-time job, you can start to designate some of the money you're earning from your income, put it into your budget, and start to aggressively work on paying off your student loan debt. And the reason why I say aggressive, you guys probably hear me say pay off your debt aggressively in a lot of my other videos and on the podcast, is because minimum payments are not a way of life and you don't want them to become your way of life. When you make minimum payments on your credit card debt, on your student loan debt, and etc., that means you are going to be paying the maximum amount of interest to your creditors. But when you are paying extra on your debt, extra more than the minimum payments, you reduce the amount of interest that you're paying, which in turn saves you money. And so when I say aggressive, I mean putting more money towards your debt, more so than what the minimum payment requires you to pay your creditors. So make it a goal that once you start earning money, that you start to aggressively pay off your debt. Tip number 4, buy what you can afford. So you might need a car to get to your college classes, right? That doesn't mean that you should go out and sign up for a loan to get a brand new car with all these amazing options. How about you get a car that is used, that you pay for in cash, that can help you get to class, that will serve the exact same purpose as that brand new car. So let's say you have a ton of friends and your friends love going out to eat and to hang out. If you can't afford that, cut back on the amount of times that you go out with your friends, or have them come over to your place and you guys have a potluck dinner or a potluck lunch. So it's all about managing your expenses, especially if you don't have a job. Your credit card should not be the way that you live your life. That shouldn't be what you're 100% dependent on. So you want to think about ways to cut down your expenses in college and start to manage your money properly, and also try to minimize the amount of debt that you take on, specifically high interest credit card debt. So when it comes to things like, the luxuries, like the cars, they're going out to eat, the nice clothes, those are things that are all nice to have, but you want to wait until you can actually afford to pay for those things without going into debt for them. Tip number 5, if you can, get a part-time job or even a full-time job. There is nothing wrong with working while you're in college. You just want to make sure that you can balance it out with your school workload so that your classes, your academics don't suffer. So if you can get a job, go out and get a job. This will allow you to increase your income, or to actually start earning an income. And you can put the money that you earn from your job towards your student loans, towards your living expenses, towards your saving and investments, towards other things that you want to do in your life. Just because you're in college does not mean that you should wait until you start working. Obviously, it'd be nice if you can just have the full college experience without, working, and just dive into your classes and hang out with your friends. But sometimes you're going to have to do what you have to do. And if that means you get a job to bring some income into your life while you're in college, then do that. And make sure that if you're working part-time in college, you're putting your money to good use. And I know that it's easy to get into the trap of hanging out with your friends all the time, going on fun trips, but you also want to make sure that you're saving. And I can't stress saving enough, because it's really, really important that you're saving. And also, if you have student loans, make sure that you're putting some of that money you earn from your part-time job towards your student loans. There's also nothing wrong in paying your student loans early. As a matter of fact, it is to your benefit if you can pay off your loans early, because you're going to be minimizing the amount of interest that you pay, which in turn over time will save you thousands and thousands of dollars in interest payments. And my final tip for you to manage your money as a college student is to be mindful of credit cards. So when I was a college student, and you can read the story on my blog, I fell into the trap of signing up for my first credit card at my career fair, and I didn't have any kind of income. I had a very small income coming in. I was making $116 every 2 weeks, which was really nothing. So I consider that not much of an income. And I signed up for a credit card that I assumed in my head was like, I didn't really think about it. I thought it was free money, and it was a big mistake, because I ended up racking up all this debt on the credit card. And then I eventually had to tell my parents, and then I had to figure out how to pay it off, which I did pay off, but it was not worth the experience or the interest I had to pay. So if you do not have a job and you cannot afford to pay off your balance in full each month, do not get the credit card for a free t-shirt, for a free pen, whatever it is they are offering. Run away. You want to be mindful of how you use credit in college. And I know sometimes, you might tell yourself as a college student, well, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to get a great job, I'm going to be able to pay this off, so I'll just use this credit card now. I just want to advise you to minimize the debt and avoid credit cards in any way possible if you cannot afford to pay your balance off in full each month. The problem with credit cards is that while you're spending on them, you think that, I'll pay it off in next week, in 2 months, in 3 months, but it creeps up on you, and you're going to end up paying a large amount of money in interest. So if you don't need to leverage credit for any reason, do not get the credit card in college. And if you do have a credit card in college right now, then make it a goal of yours to start aggressively paying off that debt as soon as you can. So working on your finances in college gives you a chance to get ahead and start working on accomplishing your financial goals and achieving financial success. It is never too early to start saving, to start investing, to start paying off your debt. And college is a great time to get comfortable with money. It's a great time to get comfortable with budgeting and managing the little that you have. So I hope these tips have been useful. And if they have, please subscribe to this channel, and also stop by clevergirlfinance.com and subscribe there. I have an awesome resource library, and be sure to join in on the fun conversations I'm having with my audience over on Instagram. Talk to you guys soon.